Everyone has a lesson. Whether it's good or bad, you can learn from it. Hey, welcome back. This episode is about the mental health in men. I have two men sharing their opinions about mental health and why having standards for women is a thing. Now, I want you guys to ask yourself this question. Why do we have standards? It's gotten to the point where in this society, the roles have switched and, women want their empowerment. Not saying, that's the best thing about like getting your revenge back and whatever. That's a whole nother thing. But as a woman that isn't in a relationship, I can see where there's stigma between both sides. But one thing I've always wondered was, what about the mentality in men? What about mental health in men? I feel like men have to, have a certain mindset and have to hold in their emotions and toughen up so they're not seen as weak or sensitive. And, it's time to drop that ego. It's time to actually become the person that you are. So be yourself and take a listen to what these guys have to say.
Me personally, I just be yourself. Whoever likes you will like you. Whoever won't, and that's just how it is. Can't do anything about it. If you try to change to maybe get like a woman to like you or something like that, know deep down that eventually you and her both are gonna have to come face to face with the truth.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long it will be, but it's inevitable.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people portray themselves to be someone that they're not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was guilty of that myself back when I was younger. I during my freshman year of high school, I thought I fit in with this group of guys, but I found out this specific group of guys weren't really my style, weren't really my thing, and I kind of slowly but surely distanced myself from them.
Yeah. Where do you think this designated from? Like the standard of being a certain way, and do you think it's from having cliques in high school or just being around a certain type of crowd?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes it might be family upbringing. It might be, well, for me obviously it was more of peer influences and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think it could also be social media too, playing a big role?
Abso-friggin-lutely.
Do you want to touch base on that a little bit?
I'll quote John Bellion on this. Life became dangerous the day we all became famous. You say that you're happy just as long as I think you were. Something like that. I forget the lyric exactly. But, yeah, it could be an outlet, but people, do portray themselves sometimes, even celebrities, of how they want to be portrayed, and then you meet them in person and they're the total opposite, for better or for worse.
Right. Definitely. What would you say most women want in a male partner? Why do you think that way?
If I put myself in a woman's shoes, I'd kind of like someone who's just nice, kind, supportive, not toxic in any way, for lack of a better term, a gentleman.
Yeah. Why do you think some women go for the type of males that aren't necessarily categorized as gentlemen?
Oh God, I can go all day.
Good. I need it.
Because I see this all the time. And
it's a big topic. That's why I wanted to touch base on this.
And I'm sort of jealous of these guys because I'm sure because they're getting all these girls, but I know deep down that the way they're acting, eventually the girl's gonna realize, this is not for me, what the hell am I doing?
So why are you jealous about that?
Because I don't want those girls to, even though it's gonna be a good lesson for them, I don't want those girls to go through it, especially like this early in their lives.
Yeah.
And like it's like it, and yeah, like this early it's fine, but it gets even more serious as life goes on, you know? Like my parents just got divorced like a year ago, so yeah.
Yeah. Do you think people should do things out of spite to get what they want?
Out of spite,
or like revenge?
Not really. I just think karma will come around to them in some way, shape, or form, whether it's like 20, 40 years down the road or something. Life has always a weird way of
I definitely agree.
Working out.
I definitely agree. Why do you think people do that though? Like, why do you think people, they'd be like, oh, this guy treated me bad, so I'm gonna pay him back, I'm gonna get revenge? Why do you think that?
I personally think that they're not thinking at all. They're just too wrapped up in the heat of the moment just to be like, hey, this jerk treated me bad. I'm gonna show him what he did to me. And like I'll say that I can understand why they want to do it, because they want to them to feel
the way that they felt.
And to have them learn and make that and deliberately know, hey, don't do this again to myself or anyone, because you know how it hurt me now.
Right, and that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
Why do you think we don't really talk about mental health in men?
Honestly, for me, I think it just differs from person to person.
Yeah.
Like, it's a personal thing. Like, me personally, I'm very open about this stuff. Like, hell, you asked to interview me, and I was like, yeah, I'll jump at that chance.
Yeah, some people don't want to, talk about it.
Yeah, because it might, like, trigger something for them, maybe, like, from their past or something that it's going to be, like, to a point of overwhelming for them that they think, like, they can't go on with their day-to-day lives. For me, it's not because you're a man, you have to keep your emotions sealed. It's just it just differs from person to person.
Yeah. I just want to know how come we don't really talk about that, like mental health for men?
I'm not sure either, to be honest, and I've been like trying to think of that question myself, because there are there's a ton of celebrities who've ultimately, unfortunately, committed suicide due to mental health issues. The two I can think of are two of my favorite artists of all time: Chester Bennington from Linkin Park and Avicii. May they rest in peace. Both of them committed suicide. Both of them were struggling, and even though you could see that in some of their art, like, people weren't taking it serious enough.
Exactly.
But like, if you knew, like, if you like tried to go a little deeper and understand, especially like what maybe their past was, like, I'll use Avicii as an example. He was so nervous, he hated playing shows because it would just make him so anxious, and it took a toll on his physical health.
Right.
So he decided to, like, a few years before he passed, he decided to quit touring altogether and just focus on music. But we might not know, maybe still he was dealing with those demons deep down, and he just ended it all. I'm a strong advocate for like, obviously, like, opening up to like new things, but be yourself. Don't be afraid to talk about it. It's insanely important. We don't want many more men and women self-harming or committing suicide because they've kept all this in and they haven't let it out. If you feel like you need help, talk to someone, talk to family, talk to friends, talk to a trained professional. Try to help end the stigma and begin with yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Liam.
You're welcome. See ya.
Hey.
Yo.
Thank you for being on Lessons Learned.
No problem.
So let's just get started, okay? So, Do you think men are supposed to have a standard for women?
I think it's, I can't even think of a word to put the amount of importance that is on this, but like it's premier. Like you need to have standards for anything that, for in life in general, but especially a woman. Whether or not this is like a smash and dash type of deal, or you're trying to see if she's right to be a wife, either way, you still have to have standards for her to fall into. You have to be the captain of your ship as a man, and if you're not, then somebody else is gonna run it, or the shit's gonna capsize. Like that's it. Standards are most important.
So, what would be your standards, like, generically?
Generic. I need a woman to be feminine, cooperative, fit, and the rest I can coach.
I'm crying. So when you say cooperative, like, what do you mean by that? Because some people would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Exactly. They don't. Okay, right? They'll say whoa, 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 but when you ask them what they want to eat, they can't tell you.
That's facts.
Like, come on now. I mean, somebody who is willing to be a part of my plan and just my team. Like, for instance, I did a poll on Instagram. It was if you got married, would you hyphenate your name, right? And like, I think it was 40 to 50% of women said no, and the other half said yes. And I'm like, okay, why are you being so difficult? You asked me to marry you. This ring doesn't benefit me, mostly benefits you for the most part, and you're not going to take my name? Like, that's uncooperative. That's just unnecessary tension, because especially as men, and here's the thing, I'm talking about men who actually are worth something in this world. If you're dealing with bums, that's on you as well. But
I love
it. But I'm talking about the men who actually go out there and like slay the beast and bring home the meat and put it on the table. In this case, it would be money. Like, men who actually do stuff. We fight so hard throughout the day. I don't need to come home and have you in my ear like this.
Facts.
No, I need an oasis when I get home. And as long as I'm doing everything on my end, I need you to do everything on yours. Yeah, and a lot of women just, I don't know, feel like they're just so, it's the whole like empowerment stuff. Like, they just feel like they're so high up there that anything that would pleasure a man, not like just sexually, but like in any shape, way, or form, they don't want to do it because they feel like they're like, oh, that makes me beneath him, or da da da.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably because of, the media, and a lot of women today are like, oh no, get him back, do this, do that, you are the boss. And it's like, no, it's supposed to go both ways.
I mean, even when you have like these super supreme boss type, air quote boss type ladies, I'm gonna hurt some feelings here, but they're, when you get them like behind closed doors, they're some of the most submissive. Even with like a lot of men who are high powered, like that's something that's said as well. But I feel like there's something in most women, we're talking about like nature versus nurture here, something in most women that wants to be led and submit to a strong man, no matter who it is. Like, we look at 50 Shades of Grey, for instance, right? Why was that book such a top seller? Yeah, why was that? I mean, it's almost like a tea kettle. Like, when you try to put the pressure on it, it's gonna seep out in other places. We have a whole bunch of soccer moms just buying the book, like, oh, I wish I, like, oh, but you're so empowered, this and the other on the street. But okay, I mean, I've been with a lot of like feminist types, and they're like, oh, men are trash, da da da, but oh, choke me this, do this, that, and the other, all this. Like, when I first got into these streets, I was a little vanilla child, like, oh God, we're just gonna do this, that, and the other. But then I got exposed to all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, this is the wave? All right, I guess I'm the provider. So that's how I was moving with it. But either, as I was saying, like, things seep out, and you can't keep it under wraps like that. Women want to be submissive.
Yeah. So where do you think this is designated from, like the standard, average standards for a woman and vice versa,
Where do I think it comes from?
Yeah, basically.
I think today it doesn't come from anywhere, because we're not raising men to, you can't say anything wrong about a woman in 2020. without getting, oh, you're bashing this, you're doing that and the other. And a woman, but let alone a black woman. The black woman, there was this woman, her name was Shahrazad Ali. She came out with a book in like the 90s. She said the black woman is the only woman or only person in the US that hasn't been critiqued on their bullshit, essentially. And she was thrown the hell out of here. Like, everybody was like, oh, you can't say that, I'm a strong black woman, this and the other. But I mean, I dare any of you to say anything negative about a black woman anywhere, you might lose your job. Like, it's crazy. And here's the thing, though, without critiques and constructive criticism, how can you grow? Before you grow a muscle in the gym, like, you have to break it down. That's why you end up being sore and this and the other. Like, but then it comes back stronger. If I can't tell you your room for opportunities and room for growth, how can we move forward? And that's something that really holds the black community back overall. But yeah.
Do you think people should do things out of spite to get what they want?
I don't. People will do it. We're humans. But is it right? No. Would I like to think anything good will come from it? No. But there are a lot of scammers and people doing nonsense out here. But,
so why do you think they do it then?
It's like, if you can get away with it, you'll do it. Like, people just want that instant gratification. People want what they want. There's no such thing as, oh yeah, I'm gonna work for it. Like, I don't feel like we live in an honest world anymore. Like, it's just
definitely don't.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's just done. So people do whatever.
Yeah, this world right now is definitely ego. Dominant. Like, everyone thinks like they have to have a huge ego to get what they want. Because
I mean, everybody's a celebrity now. Everybody's super important. Everybody's people are overstating their value, and it's reaching ludicrous proportions. Like, I've talked to so many women. Even, like, for instance, I just went on a date like this past Friday, and the girl thought she was way cuter than she was, right? But I was like, you know what? No problem. I'll go out with you. Not saying I'm like a supermodel or anything, but we all have like these rankings and stuff in our head. And she just was acting like she was, I don't know, who's somebody attractive these days. She just was acting like a goddamn supermodel. And I was like, I understand why you're acting like this, but it still doesn't help your situation. It's just like they get so much attention that it just blows up their head. And especially, like, and this is where women get to like that 30-year-old mark, and they're like, oh, why am I not married? They think they're so hot because they can get, you might be able to get sex, but the guy won't marry you.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that's it.
It's crazy, honestly. Because I feel like social media plays a huge part, like Instagram, Facebook, all that, you know?
Egos. And I don't, it's like, our generation was the last generation to know what it was like sort of without this stuff. Like, the people after us, they're washed.
They're totally
the world
washed.
is going to be done. Like, everybody go get your AKs and stuff, because who knows what's going to happen. Straight up.
Why don't we talk about mental health in men?
Because nobody cares.
People do care, but
people don't
why
care.
But it's like, why is that a thing, you know? It's
because,
so fucked up.
Because as a man, we're not valued for anything other than what we produce for society. We're the workhorses of society. So, yeah, we're looked at, it sounds bad, but like, we're not even, some of us aren't looked at as human for the most part. Like, some of these girls out here, like, with the OnlyFans and the Amazon accounts and this and the other, like, oh yeah, just buy me whatever I want, give me whatever I want, this whole sugar baby culture, yeah, give me whatever I want. Like, you don't look at these people as people.
It's so true.
I
actually had to delete someone recently because he kept posting a bunch of OnlyFans things on his Snapchat. I'm like, what are you?
Maybe he was pimping. I mean, maybe he's getting this money. Who knows?
But like, it's still not right, you know what I mean? But hey, you do what you gotta do, which is okay, but that's not really adding anything to it, you know? It's not really adding any positive. You could do whatever you want to do. If you want to go and do that, go shake your ass on camera to get money, fine. But that only can go so far, you know? You're just gonna always just be a sex symbol.
Not even always. Yeah, looks have an expiration date. Looks have
Exactly.
expiration date. That's really it. We just don't care. Like that's
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Do you think it will change at some point?
No.
Do you think it's always going to
Here's the thing, like, because as a society, like, we have it so great, like, as long as everything is still going, we won't care. Like, I drive trucks, for instance, right? They say if you bought it, a truck brought it. I'll walk into the store, nobody looks at me, blah, 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 but the second I'm late without the food or something like that, it's like, oh, da, 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 like, so as long as the roads are paved, roads get plowed, and all this stuff that men majority do, nobody's gonna really care.
Do you feel like you have to be a certain way to a female to get what you want?
I mean, I'm a different breed. Like, I just don't care, for instance, per se. But in order, there is a formula to getting girls. There definitely is a formula, and it's unfortunate, but like women have the power in regards to the formula. Like, if women wanted to be treated right, they'd be treated right. They just would say, hey, line of demarcation. We like guys who actually take us out and who do this and the other, but blah blah blah. But that's not it these days. The worse, I hate to say it, but the worse you treat women, the better they treat you. And I would love
Some women.
okay, some women, but I'm saying a critical mass, enough to the point where you can do that and be successful and not have any worries about, oh, where am I going? Who's coming over? Like, you'll be good. I'm 24 years old. I would love to be in like the 1960s, have a wife, pop out some kids. I can do it. I make enough money, but like, it's just the way society is right now is not conducive to that. And you can't, like, if I brought all that to a woman right now who's also 24 or younger or something like that, she wouldn't appreciate it. Yeah, women aren't appreciative, and it's just toxic. We're just toxic.
Yeah.
So you do have to treat women a certain way.
Well, I feel like some women are like that. I feel like the ones that are actually, woke in this situation, they wouldn't be like that. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie. I used to be like, fuck men, like, they're going to fuck me over, so I'm not going to do anything like that. Like, I'm not getting married. I'm not having their children, blah, blah, blah. And, that was all negative thinking, if you really think about it.
And where did you learn that from?
I learned that from society.
Society? Did you go to school?
Yeah, I went to school and everything, but it's also the people you hang around with. It's the music you listen to. It's all of that, all of those factors, Even the people that you look up to, they're probably telling you, oh, fuck man, do this for them. Or whatever,
The whole city girl mentality.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's literally like society selling young women. It's so unfortunate. Society selling young women a lie, because at the time when you're in your prime, in terms of, like, they call it like the sexual marketplace, when you're in your prime in terms of like your looks and what men value, which is your looks essentially, they're like, oh, go out, go catch these bodies, go do this and the other, da da da, fuck them, blah blah blah. But by the time you realize that doesn't work for you anymore, 27, 30 and beyond, it's kind of late. Because the guys who have the choosing power, the guys with the resources, why would I choose you when I can go get a 22-year-old?
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think it could turn around, though. I think, you could change your mindset, but
I'd say you're in the minority with that.
Exactly. There's not a lot of people that are woke like that.
Yeah, like, if a young girl, like my younger sister, for instance, right? I put her up on game, and I'm like, listen, like, when she turned, I think it was 17, I was like, listen, you can either belong to these streets and let me know right now. You can go do that. I won't judge you. I just won't talk to you. I'm not gonna be associated. Or you could be somebody's wife and go that route if you want, right? And I'll help you. Da da da.
Right.
She said she wants to be a wife, but she was shamed fiercely
Exactly.
by all the girls in her school, this, that, and the other. And I mean, she's probably gonna end up living a better life, like, overall, in terms of happiness. Because, like, when you think about it, you have all these people in retirement homes right now. Like, my mom works in elderly care. These homes are getting overrun with people. COVID and all this stuff going on. You'd want to have somebody, and both men and women, you want to have somebody there with you in your old age, and somebody who actually gives a fuck about you, not just some random Jamaican. Me go and come, like, what? Like, what is that? You want to have your son and your missus.
Oh, fuck.
But
But like what you
We
said
won't
about
have that.
how her friends were rashing her and stuff, like that's society rashing the type of person that you are. But you need to wake up to that shit and not follow society, follow yourself. Both of my guests today stated something that really stuck out on me between both of them. We got to the point where everyone acts like a celebrity. Two guests that never even met each other said somewhat of the same thing. And to me, that shows that that's really huge, and obviously that's really powerful. Technology and social media has gotten many people to be a certain way when honestly in reality they're nothing like that. So please be mindful again, and please just be yourself. It's okay to be yourself. And I'm just gonna stress that pretty much for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening. If you would like to share a story, please message me, and see you next week.